Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be answering some questions that you guys have for me about the new Mantis grip pliers. What makes them different than the standard vice grip that you guys are all used to seeing and I have hundreds of. And we're going to look at what's with this funky thing on the end, what's with this red release handle, why are the jaws shaped real funny, why is there a thread in the end of these jaws, and of course all its features and how this all works together to make this the perfect welder's clamp. So as you can see, I have a really long leg, which is the moving jaw, and then a really short anvil arm on the bottom. And when you compare that to a vice grip style, we have two equal length arms. The downside to this is that you're limited by the space that these arms can reach into. So we look at this piece of tubing. Say you wanted to get these pliers inside there, it just won't fit. The Fireball plier can go inside the tubing. You can clamp stuff down by reaching into small spaces. Another good example of this comes in handy a lot for me is when I use the Fireball squares. The clearance starts to get smaller as you get closer to the edge. It's a perfect fit when trying to utilize the whole square. I can get right up to the edge. The traditional, you're leaving yourself another couple inches before you run out of room. So being able to get into small spaces is much nicer. So let's talk about the top jaw and the benefits of this extra capacity. So let's say we wanted to clamp this piece of angle iron down to an object with our traditional vice grips. I'm limited by the throat. You see I'm bottomed out, and no matter what I do, I don't have a choice. Can't flip it over because they're the same. But with the extra capacity of almost an inch, I can reach over long legs of angle iron, get a little more reach. So I have the choice now, short or long. So by changing the arm lengths, we're gaining some benefits, but without any of the drawbacks. The drawbacks would be that we'd lose our opening, which we still have 3 inches on both clamps, so that's pretty awesome. The next thing I want to talk about is this funky swivel fishtaily thing on the end of the plier. What is that all about? Well, this is a way to tighten the clamp without taking your gloves off. This is called like a fishtail, so it's a speed handle for the screw. And on the traditional or the vice grip style, you're gonna have this thumb screw. And I don't know how many times I do it. I shake my gloves off to get my hands on this thing to adjust the pliers. But now you don't have to with this. So this screw comes in handy more often than it gets in the way. So I have 2 ways to tighten these pliers. One, I can squeeze the handle and grip it and lock it and cam it over. Or the second way to do it is actually just to turn the screw. And I can actually apply more force with this screw than I can with my physical grip strength, which comes in handy a lot of the times where you just need that extra little bit of clamping force and you just grip this and go and squeeze it. You don't have to readjust everything again. Now let's talk about the release feature. All you have to do to release this is pull, which is really convenient. On the vice grip, you have to pull these two together and get your finger inside, and it's quite awkward. So being able to go the other direction is a much nicer feature. So you guys ask me a lot if I could give you a tip to help you improve your welding. And the best tip I think I can give you is to get comfortable. So this is the vice grip clamp, and let's say we wanted to weld this at a 90-degree corner. We'll clamp it to the square. And what happens is, do you see how this whole body of this clamp is now into our work field, which means that if you're TIG welding these 2 pieces together, I have to now reach or get into an awkward position to weld this joint because the clamp is in the way. So I don't like that. You're going to have to make some sacrifices to your welding position. But if you look at where the body is at, from where it clamps, this whole body is offset to one side. It is not in the center like the standard vice grip clamp is. So what's neat about this is the whole clamp literally moves out of your way. Now, I have a lot more control. I can put my hands where they needs to be. I can actually probably weld this joint all at one time if I scoot the clamp up a little bit higher. So there's no stop starts. I don't have to move the clamp out of the way. It's these little subtle things that are gonna improve your welding. And if it just means get a better design clamp, then that's really simple to do. So now let's talk about what the heck this thing is here. So when I designed these pliers, I wanted to be able to add some attachments to it. So I put us a thread in this lower foot, and the default attachment is just a bolt. Now what we can do with that is weld something to it. We can bolt these pliers to a fixture. Basically this is a sacrificial bolt and we can do whatever we want. And so here are some examples of some attachments that I've made and that I just keep in my toolbox. So the first one is just a piece of angle iron welded to the bolt. And now I can grip onto a piece of tubing and it doesn't slip out. I use this a lot for hand railing or just normal pipe work. The next one that I've made for myself is this. This was for a stainless steel job that I didn't want the pliers to damage by putting an impression into the surface finish. It's just a disc that I've glued a piece of leather to. That way when you're got a delicate surface, it doesn't damage it. So I hope you guys enjoyed these questions and answer sessions. I really enjoy doing this for you. It's actually really fun. Gets to share the design of the new clamps and why the old stuff is just, you know what, it's still good, but we can make improvements on it. So you can find these at the Fireball Tool website. I suggest getting 4 of them at a time, 8 if you're feeling like you have a little extra money to spend, but 4 is definitely the way to go. They come in 2 different sizes. This is the 11-inch or 12-inch size. They also come in a smaller version just like this, and you can get them at fireballtool.com.